Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rising Father podcast. I'm Chris Rodak. Let's talk about that constant low-grade frustration that lives in the back of your head, the feeling of being stuck, the quiet disappointment you feel at the end of the day when you know you fell short. That feeling has a name, and its name is internal conflict. It's the exhausting, soul-draining civil war between the man you are capable of being and the man you are currently living as. It's the war between the man who visualizes greatness and the man who chooses comfort. Here's how most men think about it. They see their life as a series of separate, unrelated problems. You think skipping the gym is a fitness problem. You think snapping at your wife is a relationship problem. You think having that extra beer or scrolling your phone for an hour is a discipline problem. You believe you are fighting three different enemies on three different battlefields. And that is precisely why you are losing. These are not separate failures. They are all battles in a single war for your identity. You have to understand this. A loss on the battlefield of nutrition directly weakens your position on the battlefield of patience. A defeat on the front of physical discipline makes you more likely to surrender on the front of mental focus. It's all interconnected. It's all the same war. Whenever you have the strength to say no to a Snickers bar, when you promised yourself you would not eat it, that is the exact same discipline and control it takes to not snap on your wife, to not snap on your kids, and to be stoic and emotionally in control when the storm is raging. That's why we call it the lighthouse in Men of Fire. We want to be in control, immovable, the rock. We want to be dependable for our family, no matter how strong the storms are waving and the wind is blowing on us. Be the lighthouse. So many guys see their problems and they think, well, this fitness or nutrition problem, this weight problem, is a fitness, nutrition, and weight problem. Instead of looking deeper and saying, no, this is an identity problem. This is the way I see myself. This is the story I've been believing about myself. And then whenever you back up, you can see that you've been proving that story correct through your own actions. The story you have about yourself is reinforced by your daily actions that you are taking today. So you can back up throughout the day and write a story of what you did. And I guarantee if you are a healthy guy, if you see yourself as a healthy guy, as a disciplined guy, you took disciplined, healthy actions today. It's pretty obvious, right? It makes sense. If you see yourself as an unhealthy, undisciplined guy, an overweight guy, a sloppy guy, then I guarantee you took those exact same actions today as well. Your unhealthiness and your sloppiness and being undisciplined is a far deeper problem than those external words. I gave a story in the past couple episodes about a guy I had a call with. He said, all I need is a plan, right? Like I've been knowing what to do. I could make a change, but the only issue is I don't have a plan. And really the issue was far deeper than that. It was how he saw himself. It's the same problem for all of us. The thing we're struggling with in our relationships, in our business, in our health, in our discipline, with our income, all comes back to what we believe about ourselves. I did a podcast episode called The Internal Governor. It's an extremely powerful podcast. I would say definitely listen to that one. It's about an internal mechanism we all have that puts a limit on our accomplishments. And there's this thing inside a golf cart, for example, it's called a governor, and it doesn't let the golf cart go past a certain speed limit. So it might be 15 miles an hour. And once the golf cart gets up to 15 miles an hour, this governor kicks in, and the golf cart can't go any faster than that. Many of us are living our lives with a governor on ourselves. We see ourselves as a $50,000 a year person, or someone might see themselves as a $50,000 a month person. Someone else sees themselves as a $5 million a month person. And once you hit that threshold, once you bump up against it, that governor starts to kick in and takes you back to where you truly believe you are. You truly believe that you're someone who won't commit. You truly believe that you're someone who's going to give up when it gets hard. So then you don't take any chances. You don't try anything. You don't bet on yourself. You don't invest in yourself. You don't take risks on yourself, because in the back of your mind, your true belief about yourself is that, no, I'm not going to stick with it. I'm not going to commit. So you always live up to that. You can never escape your identity. You can never escape the story you have about yourself. It was the exact same thing when I was a teacher. When I had a kid who was social and outgoing, he saw himself that way. When I had an unhealthy kid, an obese kid, he saw himself that way, and 9 times out of 10, his parents were the exact same way. We live up to the person we think we are. Here's some more examples. You think procrastinating on that big report for work is a time management problem. You think being too tired and drained to play with your kids is an energy problem. You think your messy garage or disorganized office is an organization problem. You think avoiding the tough conversation about the family budget is a money problem. You think the constant low-level anxiety is a stress problem. You think not speaking up in the meeting is a confidence problem. Staying an hour too late scrolling is a boredom problem. Not taking the lead on planning a date night is a romance problem. You have neatly categorized all of your shortcomings into separate boxes. You tell yourself, today I'll work on my fitness problem, or this weekend I'll tackle my organization problem, but you never make progress because you're treating the symptoms and not the disease. You believe you're fighting a dozen different enemies on a dozen different battlefields, and that is precisely, once again, why you are losing. As I said, these are not separate battles. This is one battle for the man you believe you are. This is a single battle for your identity. Who do you believe you are? That is it. You will live up to that person. It's the same. We talked about this on our Men of Fire call today. I identified 3 different types of guys. We give 3 calls a week. Throughout this time with us, you're going to go through many different phases. Say you're a guy who comes in, you need to lose weight. The first couple months, you could be shedding pounds. There's a guy who just joined us, brand new guy, been with us 2 weeks. He's down 12 pounds already. He said his marriage is taken off. He said his kids are talking to him about protein. He feels better at hockey. Just started. He's on fire. He has momentum. There are guys that are crushing it. Then there's guys who are fighting battles. They are in the midst of the grind trying to rip out alcoholism or cigarettes or porn or vaping or distraction, whatever it is. They're trying to rip that out. They're in the midst of it. Then there's guys who just said, man, I screwed up this week. There are 3 different phases of guys, and each of them needs a separate plan. In a real battle plan, like we do in Men of Fire, we give our men mental strategies to succeed no matter what phase you're in, because you're not always going to be crushing it. It's not real life. I just had tons of guys renew this past week for the 2nd and 3rd time. They've been with me for 2 or 3 years. Over those 2 and 3 years, you're going to go through many challenges. Might be fired. Maybe your business will crumble. Maybe you'll have some marriage issues, maybe some health issues, surgeries. You never know what's going to come up. You have to identify where you are right now, what phase of life you're in, and what mental strategy do you need to be resilient and strong. So this morning on our call, we identify where you are, be open and honest with yourself. Are you crushing it? Are you in the middle? Did you have a horrible week? You fall flat on your face? Now, what strategy do we need to be successful right now? Because I told them, I said, every single one of you, including me, over the next year, we're going to find ourselves in one of those places. This isn't like I'm advertising some 90-day shred. I'm saying, okay, you're going to be perfect for 90 days straight, and you're going to lose 100 pounds and get shredded in 90 days, and you're not going to have a single problem. I hope you have problems when you're with me. I hope you have some failures and setbacks, because what I'm trying to instill in these men is real strategies for an unbreakable willpower, to be the lighthouse. That means you're going to take some waves. Our motto, our symbol is a lighthouse. It's not a beach umbrella that can only stand on a perfectly sunny day without wind on vacation. No, I'm talking like in the midst of a hurricane, this thing is reliable. How does that thing become reliable? By facing down the storms of life. So you have to have strategies for every single one of those storms. And that's what we do. We build mental strategies, emotional strategies, willpower, discipline, consistency, so that no matter what, after they leave me and they're 10, 20 years down the line, they still are a changed man. This wasn't something they did that one time. But it all ties back to identity. You have to believe the person that you are can withstand this storm. If you don't, if you think you're going to crumble, then you're going to be taken out with the storm. So what these guys do, even if you're crushing it, your struggle is complacency. Your struggle is, the thing you have to guard against is, I deserve a break. Because that inevitably leads to complacency. It's like, for Monday through Friday, I crushed my diet, at my workout, I crushed work. I'm down 2 pounds in the weekend. Most people say, well, I deserve to drink, even though you promised yourself you wouldn't. I deserve to go crazy. And then you change over the weekend. It's not that this is a break that's isolated. No, the person you are Saturday is who you are. You're not the person you were Friday, no matter how successful you were Friday. You are who you are on Saturday. Sunday, you are who you are on Sunday. So we have to develop mental strategies and willpower. But let's go back to what we were talking about here. As I said, these different failures you have, they're not separate failures on separate battlefields. It's all one thing. It's a war for your identity. So let me give you a personal story. I remember going back and forth for years with my weight, as I've been very open and honest with you guys. For years, I went up and down with my weight. Sometimes I was disciplined. Sometimes I was undisciplined. When I was in my early 20s, I was waking up at 5 a.m. in a dirty garage doing P90X and working and coming home and jogging, living by myself, meal prepping foods. It was an extremely disciplined time for me. And then over the next decade, it was motivated, unmotivated, motivated, unmotivated. And when I was getting into that time, afterwards, after my disciplined P90X days, I would try to get it back. And I remember specific times where I would let my diet slip during the day. I'd eat junk for lunch at school, and I'd tell myself, just food, won't affect anything else. But then I'd get home and have less energy, feel irritable, be more likely to be triggered by something my wife said and snapped. And at this time, I understand the identity part of it, but back then I didn't. I thought my exhaustion and impatience were separate issues from my nutrition. It took me years to realize the truth. The battle I surrendered at lunch was the direct cause of the battle I lost at home in the evening. I was weakening my own supply lines and expecting to be a strong general. It doesn't work that way. So how do we win this war? First, you must understand how your identity is actually built. Your identity is not a fixed state you are born with. It is not something you find. Your identity is a structure that you forge. And every single choice you make, every single day, is a hammer swing that shapes who you are becoming. This is the binary choice. There's no neutral ground. There's no such thing as neutral hammer swings. Every single action you take is either forging the man you want to become, making his character harder, his resolve sharper, his spirit more resilient, or it is weakening him, introducing cracks, impurities, soft spots that will fail under pressure. Every time you hit snooze, you swing for weakness. Every time you choose the workout, you swing for strength. Talked about this at all again on our call this morning. For 99% of guys, people just say 100% of guys, your very first battle of the day is waking up when the alarm goes off. If you can win that battle, then your chances of success that day skyrocket. Because that is the very first decision you are making as to, am I a man of my word? Am I a man who keeps promises? Am I a man whose who has something worthy to work on today? Am I a man who has something worthy of getting up for today? Or am I a man who's going to sleep through his life? It's the first battle. When the alarm, okay, I promised myself I'd get up at 5 a.m., I'd go to the gym, I'd start some work, I'd get a head start on the day, be up before my family wakes up, and then the alarm goes off and you say, who the heck said that? And you go back to bed. That's your very first identity-defining battle of the day. Who is going to win in that moment? So if you're somebody listening to this and you're like, my life's a mess, I'm undisciplined, inconsistent, all these things are going haywire, then like I talked about earlier in the call, there's a bunch of different phases of people out there, and everyone needs a different strategy. Your strategy is to focus on tomorrow morning when the alarm clock goes off. That is you. That's what you need to focus on. If you're in my group, that's what I'd tell you. I'd say, don't worry about anything else but tomorrow getting up when your alarm clock goes off. Because I've got guys who've been with me for 12 months, and they lost 60 pounds. They've gone sober for 12 months. Their business is taking off. Their marriage is the best it's ever been. The relationship with their kids is the best it's ever been. They've been getting up on time, doing workouts for months straight. They're crushing it right now. In just 1 year, life completely different. They don't need that type of guidance. They need a different type of guidance. Their guidance looks like your momentum must be guarded at all costs. Guard yourself against complacency. Guard yourself against, I deserve it, I earn it. No, you must push yourself just as hard as the guy who's scraping away and surviving, who's down in the pit. Maybe even more so. So everyone needs something at a different time of day. But there are no free actions. That's not the way it works. There are no free actions we take during the day. It's kind of like karma. Everything we do will have a consequence. Every thought you have will have a consequence. Every word you say lands somewhere, even if it's by yourself, because that word enters your subconscious and forms your identity. Your self-belief, the way you talk to yourself, forms your identity. There are no free actions or free thoughts or free words that we take. So every single day, we're either building a strong, confident, dependable man who believes in himself and thinks that things are possible, or we're building a guy who lacks confidence, lacks self-belief. When he looks to the future, he doubts his possibilities. It all comes down to what we did today. Psycho-Cybernetics, book I talk about a lot, talks about this as well. Atomic Habits, of course. James Clear, famous quote. He says, every action you take is a vote for the person you want to be. That is what I'm talking about to the core. You take actions today that prove you're strong, you will feel strong and confident. When do you feel your best? It's whenever you're pushing yourself. It's whenever you're doing things that make you feel strong and confident. When do you feel your worst? It's when you're indulging. It's whenever you're doing things that make you feel weak and unconfident. Things that make you question who you really are. Let's move on. The blueprint. The real work is not to hope for motivation or wait for inspiration. The real work is to consciously pick up the hammer every single day and choose what to forge. I'm reading this great book called The Greatest Salesman, The World's Greatest Salesman, something like that. And there's a great quote. Let me look it up for a second because I talked about this on our call and I have it right here. So I want to give it to you. So here's a quote from the greatest salesman in the world. He says, today I begin a new life, and I will make a solemn oath to myself that nothing will retard my life's growth. I will forget the happenings of yesterday, whether they were good or bad, and meet the new sun with confidence that this will be the best day of my life. So that means that it does not matter what happened yesterday. It does not matter if something good happened yesterday. It doesn't matter if something bad happened yesterday. You start anew. You forget what happened and you begin once again. You don't take any successes or failures from yesterday. So I want to give you a blueprint of what to actually do. This is the important part. This is, all right, give me some actions to take. Because your philosophy and your perspective is the most important thing. And then we're going to talk about action. So how you see the world and what you believe in will impact this. This is whether you'll stick with this or not. So here's some actual actions. Remember, the real work is not to hope for motivation and wait for inspiration. The real work is to consciously pick up the hammer every day and choose what to forge. So your very first swing of the hammer needs to be the alarm. This is how you start to forge your identity. The very first swing of the day is your alarm clock. Snooze is a swing for weakness. Rising is a swing for strength. How you start sets the tone for the entire day. Next is nutrition. Every single meal is a choice. Are you adding high-grade fuel to the fire, or are you throwing in garbage that smothers the flame and forges a weaker body? What you eat takes the most discipline out of anything because it is so easy and it feels so good. Grabbing some chocolate feels so good, requires nothing from you. The discipline to say no to that is immense. Things that are very easy to do are very easy not to do. So it's so easy to just grab some candy when you promised yourself you wouldn't. It's hard to have that discipline to say no to those things. Relationships. Every interaction with your family is a chance to forge. Are you swinging with presence and patience? Are you forging connection and trust? Or are you swinging with distraction and frustration, forging distance and resentment? Mentally, what you're consuming, every piece of content you consume, every podcast, video, and book is raw material. Is it high carbon steel that sharpens your mind, or is it scrap metal that clutters the workshop and dulls your blade? Everything you consume has an impact on you. There's so much chaos going on in the world right now. It is so easy to be swept down a toxic whirlpool of negativity. Nathan today asked me a question. There was some news, something was talking about, the chaos happening in the world. Nathan asked me some questions about it. I gave him a short answer. I said, the great thing, Nathan, is you're a kid. You don't have to worry about it. Whenever you're an adult, you have a lot of other things to worry about. Right now, you do not have to worry about that at all. And he's like, you're right. I'm a kid. He's like, I don't have to worry about it, Dad. You do. And that was it. And he went on his way. But that's the truth. I don't want these things clogging up his brain, but they also don't have to clog up our brain. And the people you're with can clog up your brain. The people you choose to spend time with, the content you choose to consume on your phone, on your computer, on TV, podcasts, all those things, they clog up your brain. And everything you listen to will come out of your mouth and then will have a real life impact on the results you get. So let's close with a challenge. The man you want to be is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. He's not hiding from you. He is high-grade steel waiting for the blacksmith. He's waiting for you to begin the work. Let me say that again. The man you want to be is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. So the command for today is really simple. It's stop negotiating, start forging. Stop negotiating with your weaker self. The voice that tells you, I can sleep in. Or this hammer's too heavy. The fire's too hot. You can start tomorrow. You can start on Monday. Things are too crazy right now. If you're waiting for life to be easy and convenient and resistance-free for you to become a man who succeeds in obstacles, it's not going to happen that way. That's not where discipline is forged. Discipline is forged in flame and fire and resistance. It's not forged on the beach. Stop negotiating. Stop negotiating with your weaker self and start forging the man you should be. The work is right in front of you. You know what you have to do. So pick up the work. Pick up the hammer. Start swinging. Start forging. And just get to work. Get to action. Decide who you want to be and live up to that man. The last thing I want to hammer down with you guys, since we're using the metaphor of the forge today, is the concept of identity, and what you do today determines who you are. If you feel weak, unconfident, doubt, and you have fear for the future, you feel stuck, if you had a list of every action you took over the past week, I guarantee it proved those feelings correct. However, if you took risks, if you invested in your family, you invested in yourself, if you made a bet on yourself, If you pushed yourself harder than ever, got uncomfortable, changed things up for you, I guarantee you feel really good and on fire right now. If you took the easy, safe way, I guarantee you feel weak. If you took the hard, challenging way, the way of growth, I guarantee you feel strong and confident. The person you are and the person you want to be will be defined by the actions that you take. And that's what I got for you today.